College is a time for mistakes. Like when a friend of mine left for winter break and left the faucet running. Yes, it was gallons of water down the drain and quite the water bill. But consider how many days the apartment sat vacant. $1,000 in rent, pretty much unused. Apartment waste happens every time we travel. And millennials are traveling more than any generation before them. On average, over a month per year. And when you consider how many apartments they leave behind, it's the equivalent of every single apartment in the state of Texas sitting vacant for the entirety of the year. Seems like an easy fix, though. They could just put their apartments on Airbnb, right? Wrong. I'm Alakaya, and I launched ReRent to do what Airbnb doesn't, to finally allow millions of travelers to easily monetize their apartments while they're gone. You see, Airbnb expects their host to actually host. And if you've ever hosted anything of any sort, you know it's easier said than done, and always more of a challenge than you expected. Look at everything you'd have to do. And then imagine trying to do that from another time zone. Cleaning up between guests, we know laundry is a pain. Not to mention being on call the whole time you're trying to enjoy your vacation. This is the flaw in the system, that when you travel, you leave behind an empty apartment. But it has to stay empty because you're not there to host it. But what if your building hosted your apartment for you through their exclusive partner, ReRent? You just use our portal to let us know when you're going to be away, and then call it a day. ReRent handles everything. The first time around, you'll snap a few photos, and with these, ReRent will create listings for you on multiple sites like Airbnb and Vrbo in minutes. We dynamically price your place based on travel demand, and as bookings roll in, we'll vet and manage guests as well as schedule cleanings. Your place is insured, and you'll come back to a clean home and a credit to your next month's rent or cash. The revenue is shared between you, ReRent, and the building, which gets a cut. Buildings are excited because they had no incentive to allow subletting because they didn't get anything out of it. But now it's a win for them. You're excited because you're effortlessly earning back dollars that you would have otherwise wasted on rent while you weren't even there. And we're excited because now there's a way for millions more to participate in the sharing economy, not just as consumers, but as sharers. We've launched with off-campus student housing. It has predictable supply, actually makes up 12% of the overall rental market, and is where landlords are already familiar with subletting. It's also where I took on thousands in debt to pay for my year-long lease off campus, only to be gone, and I counted, for 172 days. It turns out housing costs actually drive more student debt than even tuition. In our pilot, we took 40 apartments over 6 months that would have otherwise been downtime and hosted 500 guests who booked for more than 1,300 nights, generating $100K with substantial margin. Next, we're graduating to millennials who spend the highest percentage of their income on rent, yet travel constantly. And once travelers share their apartment through ReRent, it becomes a lifestyle. Less than 5% of our clients had shared their homes before ReRent, and after re-renting once, 95% of them did it again. Just like you would never leave the faucet running, why would they watch their rent dollars go down the drain now that they have an alternative? ReRent's making it as easy to share your space as it is to book a place. And next, we're going to make it effortless to share all your major assets whenever you're not using them, from your apartment to your car or boat. Becoming the infrastructure that opens up the sharing economy for anyone to share. The same way that Shopify opened up e-commerce for anyone to sell. When I was at Yale deciding on whether to launch ReRent, there was one core reason I knew I had to. You see, I believe that what America needs most is to make better use of all that it already has. Housing is too valuable to let it go to waste. And sharing is too powerful to be restricted to a select few. ReRent's unlocking underutilized assets by empowering the sharer. Please join us.